How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about a weird one. So everybody's pretty familiar with the Fender Starcaster model that came out in '76. However, today we're going to be talking about Starcaster by Fender. So this is a weird case. So let's dig into it. All right, so first we're going to talk about the guitar, and then we'll kind of go into some background and kind of explain what this thing is. So all right, so here you go. This is it. This is the Fender Starcaster. So this isn't your actual Fender Starcaster model. That came out in '76. Originally got introduced in '75, came out '76, and then I think in '82 is when they stopped selling them. They weren't really a huge success for Fender. But this video is not about that guitar in particular. It's about the Starcaster by Fender model. What the hell is this thing? So let's get right into it. All right, so to start this off, we're going to talk about it in three sections. We're going to talk about the headstock, the neck, the body, and then we'll kind of get into the background a little bit. So to start, we have an arrowhead-shaped headstock, which is very, very weird and unique. A lot of people may argue that it's kind of ugly. I think it's actually really cool. It's based off of a Fender Swinger, which is a '60s Fender guitar that did not sell well at all. They kind of based it off that, but it's not finished. It's kind of just your Squire kind of matte feel to it. It doesn't have a gloss on it or anything. It does come with die-cast tuners on the back. It's your standard ones that you get on like a Player Series or something. These ones are probably a little more low quality than that. I'm thinking about putting some classic ones on it though. I think it would be a nice touch. So anyways, you got your regular plastic synthetic nut there, so nothing too crazy. And lastly, another cool thing I actually really like, the logo is awesome, and I'll include like a close-up. All right, so now we're going to be talking about the neck. What do we have here? Well, we got a maple neck that feels maple. It's got a skunk stripe on the back. One thing I discovered, which I thought was really cool, is that this is actually a rosewood neck. The fretboard is indeed rosewood. I thought that was really cool. They did actually make maple versions of these, but we'll get into all that later. So from scale, I measured it from the nut to the bridge. It is a standard 25-inch scale. I got about just under 25 and a half. It is 21 frets. It does have your fret markers here. They're really small frets. I'm not exactly sure what kind of frets these are, but they are small and thin. That's about it. I mean, as far as the neck goes, you can't really feel the frets here. It's actually super smooth. And we also do have, I think that they don't look to be decals. I think they are actually some type of proloid type of plastic inlay markers there. So correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not exactly the material. Not sure what the material is, but they don't look to be decals. So all right, so lastly we're going to be talking about the body. So the body is actually a full-sized strap body, which is really unique considering that it's a more cheaper design Squire. For instance, my 2016 Bullet Squire has an actual thinner body compared to all my other strats. So it's really cool that this is a full-size body, because if you don't want this neck on here, you can take that off and put on a Ventura neck or something. You know, you can upgrade that. That's the best part about these cheaper guitars. All right, so what do we have? So of course you got your regular bolt-on plate. You got a back plate here, which is actually textured. It's kind of different. All the other Squires and stuff I've seen, usually just pretty plain. It does have a regular tremolo block in it. So they do come usually from the factory with a floating bridge. So 3-ply pick guard, which is pretty neat. It's almost like this cream color pick guard that they have on there. It's not white. I know a lot of Squires, especially older ones, had a 1-ply pick guard. So that's kind of a cool, nice touch on here. I think that came standard on these models. You do have 3 single coil pickups here. I bought this third party, so I'm not exactly sure what kind of pickups these are. However, I know these are kind of Squire quality pickups. Not because they sound bad, but the pole pieces are all flat. I'll insert a close-up here, kind of what they look like, but all the pole pieces are completely flat. You do have a 5-way selector switch, which is really neat. If you like in between tones like me, of course you got your standard volume, tone, tone. I just noticed that I have my knobs backwards, so I might need to fix that. But you do have volume, tone, tone. So then your regular standard jack. And your bridge is, of course, a lower quality Squire type of bridge. You're not going to have that branded Fender bridge on here like a standard Strat. So that is the guitar. Before we go into a tone test, I'll give you guys a quick background. So these are a pretty interesting case. So I'm not going to talk about the Fender Starcaster just because I don't have one. They go for a lot of money. But this video isn't really about them, that model in particular. It's about this model, which they call an S1. So this is the early style Starcaster by Fender model. So we're going to talk about that. All right, so to lead up to this point, how did we get here? The Fender Starcaster was Fender's attempt at hitting the semi-hollow electric guitar body market that Gibson was pretty much ruling. Gibson and Epiphone, you know, they had a lot of these guitars out at the time, and Fender wanted to compete with that, so they came up with the Starcaster. It had a weird offset type of body, you know, it had the thin line cutouts in it. It actually was really unique. The headstock, I think, kind of looks cool. It's a little unusual, you know, but the guitar didn't sell well. It only sold from 76 to 82. After that, they discontinued it, and they didn't come out with another one since. So that leads us up to this. Where does this come from? So in the late 90s, early 2000s, Fender got the idea of bringing the name Starcaster out of the ground, and they wanted to introduce a beginner line of guitars that could be a little more affordable and sold to people. However, it was rebranded to Starcaster by Fender instead of Fender Starcaster. So this was a line of instruments that were aimed at beginner students. So I think they even made drum kits and other stuff. They might even make basses, I'm not entirely sure, but they made more than just guitars. I know they had different stuff a part of their line. They call this the S1. It is the early version of what would soon become the Starcaster by Fender guitar. For this model only, it had the Aeroship headstock, and a couple years after that, they ended up changing it to the 70s fat knob headstocks, and a lot of the times the headstocks were painted the same color as the body. Shout out to Music Is Win. He actually has a video of one of these that he scored at a thrift shop, I believe. Go check out his video. I'll go link it. It's pretty interesting. So after they came out with the 70s headstock one, a couple years down the road, they came out with the standard headstock, Strat headstock. So the body never changed. However, it gets a little confusing because during this time, they had different necks that you could get in different colors. You could get maple necks and rosewood necks. And I'm not entirely sure what the body material was. I know it wasn't alder. It was a cheaper type of wood of some kind. It's really hard to find information about these guitars. But if you find anything, let me know in the comments. So I do know that all these guitars had different looks depending on where you got them. These were sold primarily in Costco, Sam's Club, Target, Walmart, Best Buy, places like that. They sold these up until, I believe, 2016 or 2018. I know they discontinued the line in 2018, so you can actually find quite a few of these. You can find a lot of the Strat headstock ones out there, especially on Reverb, but the Arrowhead ones are a little harder to come by. There are a decent amount of them floating out there, but they're not as commonplace as the Strat headstocks. Depending on where you got it were the different color variations. All right, well, that's enough about the guitar. It's a really weird one. Let's do a couple sound tests and we'll see how this goes. thanks for watching. You know, I just like to talk about these guitars. Most of my stuff are Fender guitars, but I do have one Gibson I'd like to get to, and I kind of like these unusual guitars. You know, they're a little different. So I plan on doing this with a lot of the guitars I have and just talking guitars. So thanks for watching. Like I said, I'll link that video to Music Is Win in the description, so you can check that out. Shout out to him. And yeah, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try and put out videos more frequently. I just got some better hardware, so hopefully that helps me out. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.